This is a synopsis of our Better Balance series. So I'm going to offer several exercises in each of the 3 categories we've worked with. Motor control, or being able to manipulate our big muscles, vision, and the vestibular system. And so you could use these, just pick maybe one in each category, and so do 3 exercises a day, kind of rotate them. Or you could do them all at once. I've gathered my props. I have a necktie, a block. You also want one other item about the size of a block. You could use a shoe or a roll of paper towels. If you don't have a yoga block, you could use a stair or a hardback book when we stand on it. And then there's smooth river stones. I've got my space all set up so that I'm organized and don't have to do too much shuffling around. So I invite you to just take a couple of breaths standing up. Don't do anything special. Just stand up tall and relaxed and notice how you feel connected to the ground or not. So part of it is bringing our awareness to our body and what's going on. As we move one part, what happens with the other. So we're going to go ahead and sit down. I'm going to turn sideways. So we use 3 themes, actually 4: gratitude, humility, that beginner's mind, or sort of an open ignorance, being willing to see what will happen, and then inquiry, being curious. So if there's one of those that pops out at you today, feel free to focus on that one thing. So just maybe even close your eyes if you're comfortable. Have your feet right underneath your knees, sitting up away from the back of your chair, and take a few deep breaths. And then we're going to gently warm our spine. So on an inhale, take your arms out to the side and then make goalposts or like cactus arms. And just rounding the upper body if it's safe for you. On an exhale, pull your ribcage back as your elbows and palms come together. And then inhale, open up as much as you can, maybe even raising your sternum a little bit so it feels like a little bit of a back bend, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Let's do that 2 more times. Exhaling, gently hollowing out. And inhaling, making the spine longer, the lower body's quiet, feet rooted. 1 more time, exhale. And inhale. And then bring your hands together, palms together, stick your thumbs right at your sternum, and we'll gently twist. So again, try and keep the lower body quiet, just twisting above the waist. Inhale. Twist around your spine, maybe looking over your back shoulder. And exhale through center. And inhale, go to the other side. Let's do that 1 more time. Exhale through center, inhale, twist. Exhale through center, inhale, twist. And then come on back to neutral. You can rest your hands on your thighs, or maybe hold on to the side of your chair and gently take one ear to your shoulder. And then if it feels safe, you could fold a little further, maybe take that other arm in the air. Keep your breath nice and steady, inhaling, come on back up. Take a moment just to notice how that feels in your body. And then when you're ready, exhale the other ear to the shoulder. Keep your lower body nice and stable. Maybe you want to go a little further. Easy side stretch. We moved our spine in all 6 directions. Keeping that central nervous system healthy, right? That runs all the way up and down the spine. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is a seated lunge. I'm going to turn sideways on the chair so that one thigh and hip is resting on the chair, and I'm going to take the other knee back as much as I can. You want to have your chair near the wall, like I do, and maybe you could push your heel into the wall. So remember, shouldn't be any pain anywhere. We're sitting up tall. I'm just going to gently push my heel into the wall and notice what happens in the rest of my body. Do I have to take my ribs forward? Or can I just isolate that, moving the leg in the hip socket? So I'm just gently pushing my heel into the wall. We're going to do several exercises with this one leg being the moving leg. So maybe pushing it into the heel into the wall one more time. Just noticing what's going on in your shoulders and our rib cage. And then I'm going to gently release that. Come on back to seated. Turn myself around and stand up. It's already an opportunity to be aware of how you're connected to the ground. And then I'm going to do one leg on the chair twist. So if you can't get your leg up on the chair, you could put it on a block or a lower stool, all right? And maybe working towards getting your leg on the chair. And then standing up tall, so I have the wall here for support if you need it. So you could do that, or you could bring your hands to your thumbs to your sternum again. So my feet are still at least hip width apart. I'm not on a balance beam. And as you exhale, twisting toward that front leg. And can you keep the hips independent of the rib cage and the shoulders? So the tendency might be to rotate, fold, let the hip lift. I want to try and keep everything just right where it belongs. And then come on back. So safely taking our foot off the chair. Again, an opportunity to be aware, maybe of how that side we're working is becoming enlivened. Last exercise, these big muscle movements. All right, we're gonna have that block or book or go to a stair, somewhere where you can hold on and get your heel and the ball of your foot on the block. Doesn't matter if your toes are hanging off. And then you're just gonna gently swing like a pendulum. So this might be easier since we did that seated lunge, right? But just seeing if we can keep the upper body quiet, independent of the way the leg moves. One more. Right, we're going to safely step down, take a breath, and then we'll do that same series on the other side. So I'm going to turn my chair the other way so that I can do the lunge. So holding on, I'm going to move my block so I have it. And here we go. I'm going to turn sideways. Now I have my other hip and thigh in the chair. And gently take that leg back. You always want to lean into the chair, right, so you don't fall off. And a few times I'm going to gently pulse my heel into the wall. And just notice what's going on in my upper body. Do I start bracing anywhere? Does anything happen in my other leg? Can I still keep my whole foot on the ground? Just a few pushes, pulsing the heel into the wall. And then we'll release that, turn around. I'm just standing for the one leg up twist. Right. So feet parallel, but separated. Maybe the hands come to the sternum. Keeping both feet rooted, twisting from above the waist. I can feel how that, I have to activate my inner thigh, right, to keep everything in line. So it's part of our core. Maybe gazing over your shoulder. And then exhaling, gently release. Bring that foot off the chair. And then we'll do the pendulum swing. So just slowly and gently move with the breath. Again, Again, keep the upper body soft and move that leg and the hip socket independently. Great job. Okay, and come back to standing Tadasana. Bring your awareness to how your feet feel connected to the earth. Your ribs and your shoulders are elevated over your hips. Okay, so we're going to move on to some more subtle vestibular and feet stuff. So the river stones. I've got my river stones set up here on the corner of my mat, and I'm just going to put one foot on them. So you could use other objects, right? Small beads, smooth bottle cap, or buttons. So just a few smooth objects that won't hurt the bottom of your foot. So you might start on 2 feet, right? And then shift your weight into the foot that's got the stones or the objects underneath. Maybe even seeing if you could lift the other leg slightly, but you definitely want to be holding on to a chair or the wall, right? And then come on back. And then come off the stones with that foot. Just my stones got stuck. And take a moment to notice how that foot now lands on the ground. So it just might feel like the foot has just melted into the earth more. So we have to even it out and do it on the other side. All right, maybe starting on 2 feet. Give your foot a minute to adjust to those new sensations. And then maybe lift the other leg. Just notice if anything happens in the rest of your body. And then come off the stones and come back to standing. Okay, I'm going to move the chair out of the way. And we're going to do that infinity symbol, or that like figure 8 on its side. So we'll want 2 objects. You could use 2 rolls of paper towels, or 2 blocks. We'll start with our hands interlaced and then our fingers pointed. And we're going to make that sideways figure 8. So we're going to follow it with our eyes. So just like you're drawing a figure 8 sideways. And let your eyes follow your hands. Notice if anything happens in the rest of your body. Did you start to brace anywhere? So then we have to go the other direction. So imagine you're drawing that sideways figure 8 on the wall. So increasing our vestibular strength by having the eyes follow on a different plane. Come on right back to center and release your hands. A couple of breaths. So now we're going to walk that same pattern. You have 2 options. You can keep your eyes on the wall right in front of you, or you can follow your feet as you walk around. So we're just going to make a figure 8 around these items. Take your time. Notice where your balance is challenged. Come back to the start. And then go the other direction. So what does it feel like? Maybe to do it if you followed your feet the first time. Just keep your gaze steady in front of you the second time. So that's a great exercise for our vision, vestibular, and motor control all together. We're going to finish with some wall sits. So you'll want a block and a strap. Let's tie this around me for now. Or you could use your paper towels. So when we do these wall sits, you don't want to go so deep that you can't stay there. Stay a bit. So not too low. So today I'm going to put the block between my knees. And I'm going to take my cactus arms, squeeze my block gently. Notice what goes on in the rest of my body, maybe opening up my elbows as much as I can. Keep the neck soft, jaw soft. And bring your elbows together. Still gently squeezing that block, releasing my hands. Nice. And then release the block and safely come to standing. And take a moment to notice how that grounds you. And then we can try that same thing with a strap. So I'm going to take the strap, tie it around my legs. You could use a therapy band if you have one. All right. Find that wall sit again. Think about gently pushing in to the outside of your legs to keep your big toe mound rooted. Maybe take your arms up overhead. See how that feels. And down. Gentle push outward. And then release. And untie my strap. Hold on to it for a moment. And put my block. Again, you could use a stair instead of the block. The last thing we're going to do is that step down with the tension on the outer knee. So, kind of that same motion, like we're pushing into the strap in that wall sit. I'm going to stand up on the block with one leg. And as I step down, I want to think about the outer side of my knee, of my supporting leg. All right. Pushing out, because our tendency is to let the knee flap inward now. You might notice how you feel that. Maybe in your ankle, your foot. It's a different kind of strengthening. And let that go. And then do it on the other side. So as you step down, you're rooting your entire foot of the supporting leg, but thinking about pushing into the outer edge of the knee. Maybe try it again. You can even, if you don't need to hold on to the wall, push into your hand. And come on back to standing. Okay. And then one last exercise to get our shoulders and rib cage moving independently. Just going to hold this strap, put a little tension on it, and take my arms up overhead. So what do you notice in your feet, your legs, your hips? Can you feel yourself nice and rooted? One more time. And exhaling, gently release. Maybe stand up tall. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, close your eyes or just gaze down at the floor 6 or 8 feet in front of you. If you set an intention of gratitude or humility or beginner's mind, curiosity, commit to carrying that out through the rest of your day. And don't forget, the fourth component is rest. So take a few moments to sit quietly, follow your breath, feel the energy running up and down your spine, nice open shoulders. Give yourself that mental pat on the back for showing up. And if you believe you can, you're halfway there. Teddy Roosevelt. On an inhale, bring your hands to your heart center. Thank you for practicing with me. The world is a better place with you in it.